Welcome back to Broken Bobby's transformation page. In the late 80s, I became involved with drugs and would eventually become part of that lifestyle of trafficking, addiction, and violence. Over the next 20 years, I would be in and out of jail and prison. If you're thinking about trying something or you're dealing with addiction, your life don't need to go down the same path mine did. I hurt a lot of people, both physically and emotionally. These are my stories of how I transformed my life, and you can too. Let's get it. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see by the thumbnail, we almost blew up the garage. This is a San Bernardino story, and this is around 1993. And I had told a previous story about how I had went to Glen Helen in 92. And while I was there, I met this guy. We're going to call him Mark. He was a non-affiliate Hispanic guy that lived in Colton, which is a neighboring city if you're not familiar with the area. And he was in the manufacturing business, I'll say. I have to be careful how I word this because YouTube don't like certain sayings. So before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash that like button, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and share this video. It helps us to grow. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that anytime I drop a new video or I go live, you will be notified. And I'm sorry I didn't go live last night, but we were doing some family stuff, and that stuff is really important. So I will be going live tonight, though, so be on the lookout for that. Probably somewhere between 9 and 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's 1993. I'm staying on Myrtle Drive in San Bernardino, which is close to the Waterman Gardens, Baseline and Waterman area, if you're familiar. And I was running amok at this point. Like I was on, write-in probation, basically. Like I didn't necessarily need to go test or anything, and I was using super heavy. My parents basically sat me down one day. I was like 17. Now I was about 20. And my parents sat me down and said, "We're moving back to Long Beach." And I said, "Oh, we are?" And they said, "No, we're moving back to Long Beach." It was a rental house. So basically I was going to take over on the rent, and they moved back to Long Beach. But, I had a lot of resentment at that time for them leaving me, but, I was a fool at that time. Like, we'd be out in the driveway at 2 in the morning blasting off a shotgun or, just stupid shenanigans, And so, now the place was basically mine. And, I was hustling. We called the place AM/PM. Basically, you could stop by anytime and pick something up, type of thing. And like I said, I had met this guy named Mark in Glen Helen, and he was into the manufacturing end of the business. So we were going to utilize him. The homie Joe Cooley I talk about had the hookup on 55-gallon drums of ephedrine. And so basically we put this guy to work. And this was keep in mind, this was before they had banned ephedrine and other measures needed to be used to extract it. And I won't get too much into that end of it because it's just not vital for the story. But so we were making batches in the garage, and this house, I'll see if I can find some images to put up of what it looked like. There was a long driveway. The house was, if you're looking at it from the street, the house was to the left. And then down this long driveway, there was a detached garage towards the back. And we were manufacturing back there, basically. And a couple of batches had been done already. And there were, he was getting some complaints, basically, that it wasn't the quality that they were looking for. So on this particular night, he was looking to impress, so he put some extra of a certain ingredient in there, and there was a big reaction that took place. The flask deal that he was making it in, it started hissing and popping, and the whole garage filled up with smoke almost instantly. I turned, I'm making a beeline for the door, and he yells at me, "Bobby, if you don't get back over here, this garage is going to blow." So I'm looking at him, I'm looking at the door, I'm looking at him, and I'm like, shit, okay, let me help you out. So we basically threw some water on it to cool it down. Okay, so it didn't blow up, and we got the situation under control. But the problem was there was a lot of toxic smoke in the garage. So we cracked the door, and smoke was just billowing out of the garage. And it honestly, if like you were on the outside looking in, you would think that the garage was probably on fire. So we're letting it air out a little bit. We go up, we're sitting on the front porch smoking a cigarette, and I made a comment like, man, I hope the cops don't show up. And Mark tells me it's not the cops we're worried about, it's if the fire department shows up. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So we're sitting on the porch. I'm freaking out because, at that time, like you could get 20 years for manufacturing. And, I had dodged a few bullets already at this point in my life. Like I said, I was strung out though. Like I was in a really bad way. And this just was throwing fuel on the fire, So we're sitting out there. I'm all freaked out. I end up going inside, but I'm, straight tweaker status, peeking out the window, just waiting for the cops to come, And ultimately, they never showed up, which was a blessing for me because, yeah, that would have been all bad. And ultimately, the right people got what they wanted, and the process continued, but I removed myself from the process because, to be honest with you, it scared the hell out of me. And, I was getting some really good paydays out of doing this, but the risk and the reward just didn't add up in my mind. So I removed myself from that. There was a couple times where I had removed myself from situations and things went really bad afterwards for the people that continued to be involved in those situations. And I have some more stories about that stuff that I'll share as we go on. But, I guess the message of this story is that using only provides temporary relief. This YouTube page is my way of trying to assist people in getting sober. And, when you use, you feel good and stuff at first, but eventually there's a saying, you're chasing the dragon. And, that's typically used more with people that use the black. But to be honest with you, the highs that I got early on when I was an addict, like I wasn't never able to replicate that no matter how much I did. I mean, like I said, the thing is, it would provide temporary relief, but I was always chasing something and I was never happy. And my freedom was always at risk. And, I, people talk about victims of crimes. And a lot of people tend to say that drug use is a victimless crime, but believe me, it isn't. Your family is the victims, your kids, your parents, anybody that cares about you. They don't want to see you this way. And, a lot of people say, well, we're just doing it to ourselves. No, you're not. You are affecting a lot of people. And, today's a great day to get clean. So, if, like I said, if you are new to the channel, subscribe, smash that like button, drop a comment, and let me know what you think. Like I could have been badly burned in this situation. I could have passed away even. I mean, honestly, there were so many fumes and stuff while we were doing this that I remember saying, you know what, this stuff isn't any good. But it wasn't that it wasn't any good. I was just so twacked out of my mind from inhaling the fumes and stuff that it didn't seem like it was doing anything further. But I was already, like that. So family, fitness, and freedom are the things that help me to get my life back together, and they can help you as well. If you're new in sobriety, welcome. I believe in you. You can do this. It's just a matter of getting started. Go find a meeting or something if you're new to it, and see if that helps you at all. Just changing the crowd that you hang around with sometimes you'll be surprised what it will do. The thing is, and I never realized this before, but once I took the drugs out of the equation, I had nothing in common with all the people that were my so-called road dogs and such. So these people that you use with and stuff, they're not your friends. So yeah, that's my message for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. uh, don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.